Okay, so I have a quick question, and that's going to be like the theme of this episode. And the question is, how early is too early to get married? Um, how early is too early to start having children to quote unquote settle down? Like how old should it be? And I know this kind of conversation varies in different cultures and different traditions and different places. But from where I come from, like how early indeed is too early, because sometimes as people we tend to judge others based on our own ideals, and obviously everyone does that. But like I've just been thinking, and it's a conversation like my husband and I have been having quite recently, like almost very often, quite recently, is that like how early is it, like is it bad to have gotten married at probably 18, 19, 20? Like would it have been like a terrible idea? So I'm just gonna give a bit of background for those that are like new to this channel or not really familiar about my story, how I met my husband. So I grew up in a household where I was like, marriage is not for me. I did not want to get married at all. The idea of marriage scared me. Not even think about like having children. So like that was like my ideal until I got into like university, which they call college here. So like after high school, university, after secondary school, college, that kind of thing. So and my husband and I were classmates, and at the time I was 16. I got in at 15, but like by the time we started talking, after a rough encounter we had, we started like getting close and talking, and I was about like 16, thereabouts. And if you want to have like a full gist of what happened, we have recorded a video about like how we met, so I'm going to put the link in the description or like tag the video somewhere. So I've known him for like now it's been over 10 years, like I was saying like 12 years now that I've known him, and we became friends and started like friendship turned into like that's a situation, but like turned into a full-blown romance. I would say that. So like a romantic relationship. So when we were done with, so like when we are in school, my mom knew about him. His mom knew about me because he lost his dad during our first year in university or in college. So but his mom knew about me, and my mom knew about, my parents actually knew about him. My mom first, and then my dad later got to know about this person that I was seeing. So and by the time we were done with like college, I told my mom like we want to get married, because my now husband and I, we had this conversation that okay, why do we have to wait? We obviously see each other as future partners. Let's just get married and we'll figure out our lives. And I talked to my mom about it that time. I think that time I was like 20, probably like 19, 20, like 19 going on 20. And my mom was like, no, you're too young, and you need to figure out your life first, like get a job, go into the workforce, get a job, and things like that. And then later we're going to discuss this whole marriage thing. Okay. Like I kind of understand it, because speaking as a parent, you're like, I've invested so much in this child, and like they saw me through college, through school. They paid for everything. They paid for everything, and I had the first class, which is like the highest achievement you can have, like in university, like back in Nigeria. So I had first class degree. And So as a parent, it's like, okay, I've made all this investment. I don't want her to just get married and that would be the end of her story. In that sense, and so I understand their fears. They're unsure. Like they know this person I'm with. They knew my husband, but it's like, okay, we know him, but we are not sure. Like things can happen, and also because of like how I grew up and I would say this: my parents' marriage is not like the ideal. It's not the ideal kind of marriage. Lots of issues. So obviously, my mom will be skeptical. Like, okay, yeah, she wants me to get married. She wants me to have children, but it's like you don't have to rush. You have like you have your whole life ahead of you. So there's no need to rush. That kind of thing. And I was like, okay, fine. So we did not get married until that was like 5 years after. So until we came to the US, so we got married eventually in the US. And at that time I was 25, and we had our first child. I was 26, and then I'm carrying the second one, and I'm 28 now. And like in those conversations that my husband and I have been having with me, and I really, we want more children, and we want more children. At the same time, I'm looking at my age. I'm looking at the risk factors involved. I know people who like have children older. My mom started having children when she was like 33, I guess. So it's not like you can't have children, but I really wanted to have like children when I was younger, and I used to think this was like a Western world ideal where like you as a woman, you are empowered, you go out to work and everything, and you have a career, and you put off like childbearing until like your later 20s or your early 30s. And when I got here, I got to the US, I was schooling in Lincoln, Nebraska. And then I found out that lots of people that I was seeing, so there's this app that connects like moms in the area. It's called Peanuts. This video is not sponsored. It's called Peanuts, and it connects like moms. So you like create a profile. It's almost like a dating, not the dating this thing, but like the same thing. Like if you see someone you want to match with, you swipe down, or you swipe up, I believe. And if it's someone you don't want to like talk to, you swipe down, and then you send a wave, and then you connect and you start talking. So it's just to like having more friends. So that's the whole idea of this app. And then usually when I'm on these apps and I'm like seeing people that are way younger than me, and you see like people that are 18, 19, they're married, they have the first child, they have maybe someone that are like maybe 20, 21, they have like 3 kids already, and like 20. It's not like I'm trying to compare like my life with them, or trying to say anything, like maybe what they're doing is good or bad or anything. I'm just saying that it was just shocking for me, coming from Nigeria, thinking that like you're coming to this whole beacon of enlightenment as a country that is the US, and then you're coming and you're seeing these 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds married with children, and like this was not what they told. This was not what they told us now. Maybe they told us that by 18 you're immature, you're supposed to be off in college, you're supposed to be working hard, facing your books, trying to get a job, trying to build a career, and you're not really thinking about marriage or thinking about like having a child at that age. So that was like the kind of like the notion I had, or we had also, like growing up in Nigeria. Like, okay, marrying early is it's almost seen like a third world thing, especially maybe like maybe you're 14 or 15. It's like too young, she's too young and everything, she's not mature and she's been taken advantage of and things like that. But now I've been thinking that I think I would have kind of preferred to have got married earlier. That's just me speaking. Obviously, like everybody has their own views to it. Everyone has their kind of like their life stories. Because things could have gone wrong, but things could also have worked out fine. because thinking back and saying that, oh, you probably, okay, it's time, you have to figure out your life first, think about like your career and things and things like that. It was like, till now, it's not like I have things I've achieved, but it's like, so where's this whole end goal? Like where's the end? It just keeps shifting. It's like there's no end to this whole career building, hustle culture kind of thing. So it's like, why I should have just started early. I've had babies. Probably by now my children will be at least maybe like 5, 6. Like even if I'm doing my PhD now, it's not as demanding. Like now, because I'm just having babies, and I'm having to wake up in the night. I'm having to not sleep. Having to just like change diapers and do all this whole figuring life out at this time in my life, while I'm still also trying to figure out career. It's like, okay, probably I would have done the children first, and I will still be at this whole stage of figuring career out. So this is just me like thinking aloud and actually being honest with the fact that my life is not figured out, and I have the added burden of having to grow a family from the ground, and it's kind of, at the point I'll say it was getting to me, but like that's this is my reality now. So I can't do anything about it. But I'm just saying, like, at what point, when how early is too early? Because for me, I feel like I would have preferred to have gotten married early. Because it's not like, I know some people will say, oh, maybe it's just like a college fantasy. Probably you both graduate, you get jobs, you meet other people, and then your values, your ideals change. But that didn't happen for me. I ended up that just didn't happen for me. I'm still with the same person. I still want to be with the same person for a long time. And why couldn't I have just been with him like 5 years prior? Why did I have to wait 5 years later? And then I'm just starting this whole childbearing process from scratch, and then I'm thinking about like, oh, my quote-unquote biological clock, and I don't want to be a certain age when my kids are a certain age, because I want to do things. I want to have memories with my children. I want to be able to create lasting memories, like good memories for them, and not being too bogged down, not being too tired because of like maybe my age or stress of a career and everything. So this is just me just talking like at what age is what age is too early? And I mean to differ based on like personal experiences and everything, because I know some 18-year-olds that are absolutely not ready for anything long term, or like a commitment. It's like having to hold a commitment. But there are also some 18-year-olds that understand what it means. Fine, they may not have the full picture, but like, who has the full picture at whatever stage of life? Like, I'm 28 now, and I still don't have like the whole full picture. Probably when I'm 38, at that point in time, there's still going to be a full picture I don't have like a full grasp of. So it's like, we just keep pushing. I really don't know. Like, so like, we just keep shifting the goalposts. Like, when is it okay? When is it acceptable for me to say as an 18-year-old, because I want to get married, and people actually take me seriously and they'll say, omode low shape, like it's just what's the English of that? Like she's just being immature, or she's just being childish. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so yeah, I think this is where I'll probably leave my rambling to rest, because I feel like I had to ask my husband that, okay, if we have a daughter and she comes to us when she's 18 and says that I want to get married, that would you allow her? Which is a good question, because sometimes you can be caught up in your own ideals, your own life. I'm like, okay, I was mature at 18 and I knew what I wanted from my life. And but when you get to that age where your children start growing up, you're looking at you are viewing them like your children, like your babies, and you don't realize that they are mature. And there will be mistakes and things like that, but it's part of the process, it's part of life, part of them figuring out their lives, it's part of growth. So I will lay this topic to rest. I really want to know, like, what is your conversation. I think this should be more like a round table kind of discussion, and not necessarily just me sitting down here and talking about it. So probably I will have some people over to talk, maybe when I get back home, to talk about like what they think about this topic of getting married early, having your children early, having children at all, and the career kind of conflict. Because we just completed this Women in STEM, Nebraska Women in STEM conference, and like having conversations with like other like people that are older, people that are like my age group, to talk about like family. It's mostly, usually like when we have these kinds of conferences, it's mostly career versus family. Like, how do we strike that balance that you are not seen as a terrible parent, terrible mom by your children because you're not able to like make time for them, you're not able to be there for them, you're not able to like impact your values to them. At the same time, you're not seen as a lazy person at work because you're like, oh, my children this, my children that, my children this one, I have to pick up my child, I have to, maybe the child is sick today, and it's like you're not really taken as seriously as someone who is there like giving their whole beings to a job. So there's always that conflict when it comes to like women with children, especially when those of us that really want careers or have careers and raising families. So I had interesting discussions today. I met a lady that is also wanting to start her family, and like she was asking me, she's okay, obviously like anyone that's listening knows I'm pregnant, and she was asking me like, okay, but what do I advise, which someone had asked me before a couple of years ago, like do I advise having babies like during the PhD program or waiting until after? And I'm like, for me, and that was even before I even got pregnant at all. I was like, I have waited long enough. I'm not going to wait any longer to have children. And plus, on top of that, I also had this PCOS thing I was dealing with, and I was like, if I can't have a baby now, I would. That was like back in 2023. If I could have a baby now, I would. Like I would not prevent myself from having a child, because like I already feel like I'm late. I know I'm not, but I already feel like I'm late, and also I have this health issue stacked up against me. So if I don't have them now, like when will I start the whole bearing children thing? So this is just me rambling about like this whole getting married early, having children early. Is it worth it? What do you think about it? Should it be embraced when 18, 19-year-olds want to have children, want to get married? So it's not just about having children, like getting married, settling down. Some people don't like the word settling down, but I'm using it because like it's generally understood. Like getting married and having a partner and building a family and things like that. Like is it wrong to want it? Is it that bad to really want a family at a young age? So I think that's the question. That's the question I have. So I want you to like drop your views in the comments. Probably we'll make this into a maybe a 3-man, or maybe my husband and I can talk about it, or a 3-person kind of podcast, or 4 people, or whatever number of people are interested in having this kind of conversation, like sitting down and seeing it from both sides of the coin. Because the truth is that there are people that get married early and then they don't know better. They are prone to abuse and things like that. And some people that get married later and then they got married early and then they're regretting their decision. So I think at whatever point, whether you get married early, get married late, there's prone to, there are things that are prone to go wrong. It's just a human thing. But it's just, for me, my own concern is just the fact that it has almost been normalized for you not to want to settle down at a younger age. Like they expect you to wait until like you're probably like 23, 24 before you even start talking about anything marriage. Like you should have finished your college, you should have been in a job, so that's like no one will take this thing away from you, which I understand. But like it's not exhausting. I think I will really leave this whole thing like that for now. And yeah, just let me know your views. And I really, this topic really interests me, and I really want to have like more conversations about this. So till next time, bye.